Hey, I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. One of the icons who shows independently how to make it in basketball off the court, Gilbert Arenas has just been arrested for illegal gambling.
We have breaking news. Having just learned, former NBA star Gilbert Arenas has been arrested. He and 5 others are accused of operating an illegal gambling business. The Department of Justice says they had high-stakes poker games at Arenas' Encino mansion. Arenas is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators. He's expected to appear in court this afternoon in downtown L.A. We will continue to follow this story throughout the day here on Eyewitness News.
Man, listen. Apparently, it's illegal to play gambling poker with your friends. We're going to break this down with more receipts, more videos, and go deeper into it, because I know a lot of y'all like, what? I know, bruh. Stay tuned right now. Smash that like button. Thank you for watching another episode of I Smoke Hip Hop Live. I'm your guy, DJ Bless One, the best one. Share this video, because you know I'm about to go hard into this. Pause. I'm going to tell you about the players involved, all the people, and apparently it's people from a certain country who's supposed to be our greatest ally, a criminal from there, alleged criminal, who also got arrested with this. But we're going to break it down. I got y'all. Say less.
I've been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
So apparently Gilbert Arenas got caught up in a string of situations. You guys could read the articles yourself with me as I'm about to chime in and read it right now. So it's saying Gilbert Arenas poker games, the illegal one that is. He was arrested in his house in Encino, California. It was an illegal high stakes poker game at his mansion. You know, the one where he films Gil's Arenas with Rashard McCants, Brandon Jennings, Kayan Martin, and Josiah and Lexi. You know, all that. And Sherelle, yeah, that part. Arenas is officially charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business. They said the same thing 2 times. I guess it's 2 counts for that, which is, conspiracy, and 1 count of actually operating it. Okay. And he got 1 count of making a false statement. Now, you guys can pause and read the rest, since I already know everything going on prior to the video. Each count carries a maximum of 5 years. We know Gilbert is probably going to beat this, and I'll break it down why it's serious, though, even if he beats it. I'm going to explain. But in the meantime, I want the news team to go further for you guys, like on this situation, so it can make sense for you guys.
Accusing him of running an illegal game. Now in one breaking news, former NBA star Gilbert Arenas arrested and facing federal charges, accusing him of running an illegal gambling ring out of his San Fernando Valley home. Good afternoon. This is the KTLA 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Arenas is expected to make his first appearance in a federal courtroom this afternoon.
KTLA 5's Jennifer McGraw live now outside that courtroom in downtown L.A. with more on this breaking story. Jennifer.
Yeah, Glenn and Lou, this is big news, especially for sports fans who adore him. Take a look. This happened back allegedly in 2021 to 2022, that he was allegedly working this illegal poker game. He and 5 others have been indicted, alleging that the suspects operated an illegal gambling business. Now, this illegal gambling business went and spanned over for about a year. Gilbert Arenas, known as Agent Zero, well known for his career with the Wizards and current podcast, he and 5 others have been indicted for allegedly that the suspects operated the illegal gambling business, in which high-stakes poker games were played at an Encino mansion Arenas owned. He is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators. During this time, investigators say Arenas rented out an Encino mansion he owned for the purposes of hosting that high-stakes poker. At Arenas' direction, Arthur Katz, 51, of West Hollywood, staged the mansion to host the games and collected rent from the co-conspirators on Arenas' behalf. Here's a look at all the defendants listed on the indictment. It is alleged that the defendants' Pot Limbo Omaha poker games, among other illegal games, were played at the Encino mansion, collected a rake fee for the house charged from each pot, either as a percentage or as a fixed amount per hand, and invited players to compete, now, which is illegal. Now, if these defendants that have been listed in this indictment are charged, this means that they could spend up to 5 years in prison for each count.
Accusing him of running an illegal gambling.
Now, what they're also saying, as we're looking at this, these games allegedly took place between September 12, 2021 and July 20 in 2022. So after that, it ceased. They didn't have, any more games of this. So it's not like it was a recurring thing. How could it even be a business? How could it even be a business if it was not a recurring thing? It's just friends who linked up. But I want you guys to look at something here, the names. Hang on. I want you to pay attention to the names that were involved on this situation and why it's important. There's a lot of names you see there, right? A lot of people who are involved in this situation are damn near protected people. And the others were charged with crimes that included a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group. Let me tell you the receipts. According to the Justice the Justice Department. So our Justice Department is interested in this for particular people who's around Gilbert Arenas. Do you guys understand? Because the news is not bringing up that part. I thought Bless One will go more further through, being a investigative journalist. A lot of people don't want to do that. So when you start Googling these names and you start looking at, these are big time players. So basically Gilbert Arenas is in the arena of wealthy people who make his wealth look like nothing. So he's around the big league now. What this is nothing more than a quiet storm to quiet down a bigger storm that's coming. You see, Gil's Arenas was changing the game, y'all. No offense to anybody. No, I'm not knocking anybody else, any other podcast. You might look at Views. This is bigger than Views, deeper than Views. Gilbert Arenas was changing the narrative on how you conduct business now, and it was dangerous for the conglomerate of bigger networks out there because now you no longer need it. In fact, Gilbert could have taken his Gilbert Arenas and go to any platform. It would have get the same magnitude because he built a cult following since he was on FUBU, all those days when he had the other hosts before Josiah. I could keep going. And it was a legitimate threat towards these corporations. See, Gilbert is going to win this case. Maybe he might get probation or whatever because the letter of the law has all these loopholes to violate our rights. Because essentially, they're basically saying me and my friends and brothers, we can't gamble and bet each other if we're playing poker. And because of the names involved, they're trying to make it look like a major empire, although this took place from late 2021 to early 2022. So barely a year, and you're acting like this is Al Pacino and Godfather 3, one of the worst part of the trilogy ever. We didn't need a Godfather 3, but you get the gist of it. And the network now is placating as if Gilbert Arenas is something that is other than. So now they're bringing up the gun charge that he had with Javaris Crittens, even though Gilbert and Javaris are good friends now, and they never stopped being friends. You know what I mean? Like, they even got a documentary on Netflix that just dropped earlier this year. So that's all they're bringing up to try to substantiate Gilbert is a monster. But I urge and implore everybody to go look at these charges and go look at these trivious charges. And you ask yourself, what's the motive behind this? Huh? It's only illegal because the government can't tax it. They don't have the means or departments or manpower to actually know when and where it's happening. Illegal gambling is just what basically happens at bachelor parties, we playing dominoes or whatever for some money at the graduation. Man, it could just be because we woke up on a Friday and Saturday and we just got to talking a lot and say, man, let's just vibe. It just accidentally became a party and a gambling situation. Like, how come I don't have a right to bet with my own friends? What is this? It happens everywhere, man. The crap table in someone's basement, I've seen that in New York. I mean, while local strip dancers are swinging around a pole and getting money, the government, you feel me, has no way of tracking wins. They just don't, or losses if we're being frank. So if their hand isn't in the pot making some cash, they will call it illegal and all that, just like, you know, marijuana for decades but I feel like I'm looking at that as far as why the Justice Department would be, you know, finding a motive to watch Gilbert. But when I break it down the way I'm breaking out, what's the motive? Because it doesn't benefit the Justice Department in any way, shape, or form. Based on the lettering of that law, a lot of us are guilty in America. Damn near 80% of the population. Let me be fair, because we got a lot of pretenders and fake snakes out here. So I'll say at least minimum 40-something% of the populations has bet each other on something dating back to elementary. Miss me with your moral compass and superior, holier than thou crap that you throw out there to the world. We know you. We know everything about you. So when I'm looking at this, it doesn't meet what they're showing out here. Let's get a picture of his pool table. I mean, the poker table. This is illegal now? That's all the news kept referencing. Oh, Gilbert has a poker table in his room. Pay attention to that. A custom made one with his name. And I'm thinking, what? This is groundbreaking news. Why is it like the melanated brothers are going through? You find out Diddy is in all these lawsuits. He's about to change the game and all these things that are brought up that Hugh Hefner been getting away with for over 6 decades, right? But we don't talk about that, do we? Right? You don't even have to like Diddy. You can think he's zesty and morally wrong and all that. But when you look deep into it, did he really break a law that's so vastly different than sitting U.S. presidents? Yeah, I said it. But we're not going to get into that, right? Because we can't indulge it if it's non-melanated. But if it's melanated, we're watching like glue, right? Popcorn's ready, everything, right? Same thing with Kobe Bryant. You find out the conglomerate he was going against. You find out the painkillers they were giving NBA players or whatnot had opioids in it. And that followed like 2 days before that day. He had the main court date that was going to make national news and everything. And he dies before that. And that's not even news anywhere. Why the main news media is not talking about that? Anytime they suppress real information to the constituents, to the citizens of these states, of this republic, then you have no more country, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you don't have real free press no more, you have none, because these journalists are bought and sold. But you judge me based on your favorite YouTubers, based on views. I don't even like Gilbert Arenas half the time. I like his show and the people around him. It's just my personal reasons, but I'm going to stick the code and not even tell y'all. But even he doesn't deserve that. Why are you stopping that brother? Because he was changing something, the dynamic, the physical structure on the way these corporations are made. Everything was going to flow through him, meaning that Brandon Jennings could have easily get $50 million per every 2 years type ish, or every year, based on the money that Gilbert was going to make. That they already make. I'm not going to get into that. If you know, you know. Sponsorships, everything. This right here is going to cripple him, because now that you're tainted, yeah, he's not in the NBA anymore, but he's still affiliated with it. He still has his contract obligations with Adidas, which still look like they're going to get it with his son, who, prayers to his son, seems to be having bad luck. First, he almost died in that injury. Now his son has a knee injury from just running up the stairs. It's like, geez, that the Arenas family can't get a break, if we're being for real. But let's talk about deliberate situations that happened. This was deliberate. This was planned. This was sanctioned right before our eyes. And people do not get together to stop this. We can easily cease this mindless behavior, tactics that are placed upon certain groups of people. I can keep going with it. Certain groups of people, well, one particular dominated group of people never get to be held accountable. That's that same group who claims to have a fatigue with us. Meanwhile, they're the real people the world has a fatigue with. But the world is so afraid of this one group of people, the Mayos, I say so, because they're busy trying to get acceptance or whatever Stockholm syndrome they have. But this right here should tell you we do not have a free society anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, my hearts and thoughts are with the Arenas family, are with his staff members, his friends, and I hope you guys do the same. Even the people who don't like Gilbert, when you see this going on, you should look at your rights being trampled, your rights being played with, because what's the letter of the law anymore? The scripture says obey the laws of the land, but sometimes they get murky and blurry to fit someone else meaning and interpretation on what it actually means, meaning that we might see it at this, but all of a sudden at any particular time, they can just say you did this illegally, you did that. I mean, let's just be real. We have so many laws implemented in this fake constitution that you can pretty much get in trouble at the whims of anybody just waking up one day and say, I find you in trouble for this. And they come out with a law that damn near should be outdated 800 years ago, if we're being for real. But they want to be salacious to Gilbert. Man, I'm out of here. Heart is broken. Peace.
Heart been broke so many times, I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve.